So, Assassin's Creed Valhalla is out tomorrow, or in literally a few hours, which is crazy to think about, and for the last few days I've been playing it thanks to the UK PR team at Ubisoft, and by this point I intended to have the game finished so I could make like a brief spoiler-free review for when the embargo lifts, but I've put 30 hours into the game, mainly doing story, and I feel as if I'm a good 10, maybe 15 hours away from the ending, so I thought I'd make just a chilled out, less scripted video to summarise my thoughts so far. Spoiler free, of course. I will touch on things like animus anomalies or the general story, but just without going into detail or anything major that ruin it for you guys. Just what I make of certain things without spoiling them. And it seems like a weird point to start, but I want to start with the animus anomalies. And I'll just show you the platforming of these, but no spoilers, of course, and that goes for the whole review. As of recording this, I've only done 4 of these. I think there's 10, and the animus anomalies are absolutely the best thing we've had from Assassin's Creed since Black Flag, and if I don't stand by that by the time I finish the game, then something absolutely amazing will have been done to overshadow them. The comparisons to the truth in AC2 and Brotherhood make so much sense. There's this new mystery that I'm yet to fully uncover, and they bring back the mystery and intrigue that I've missed from the series so much, whilst also having some really nice platforming sections. They're great, and I'd suggest looking for them as soon as possible. There's like a mystery, they're like logged as mysteries, and there's one really close to the settlement, so go and check those out. They're amazing, because despite not having completed all of them, they're far and away my favourite thing in Valhalla, and I get why Darby was so enthusiastic about them. And generally that mystery and that intrigue is back in a major way in Valhalla, especially the London arc. It's about 20 hours into the game, but it gives off such strong AC1 vibes because you're given a few targets that you have to investigate, but not in like a linear way in AC1, and I do mean investigations, and it's also where social stealth is pushed the most up until this point, so I would guess that was intentional. Speaking of arcs, we can talk about those for a bit. The way the game is structured is that you spend your time, for the most part, pledging yourself to various territories. Leicestershire, Shropshire, you know, all the tourist attractions here in Mercia, you know, and with each of those there's a ruler who in some way you need to help, and so for around 3 hours you help this leader or would-be leader, and by the end of it they'll pledge themselves to you, and that makes it sound simpler than what it is. It's more than that really. For East Anglia you have to get rid of a Viking invader who would kill their inexperienced pacifist king. In Cambridgeshire I had to root out a traitor who'd been helping the Order of Ancients, and so on. And before playing the game I was kind of indifferent to arcs, but I'm really impressed with how they're done and how much is established in just 3 hours. And these people are very quickly characterised. The side characters are very good, not like Ezio Trilogy Black Flag tier side characters, but still very good, especially considering how much time you have with a lot of these. And the locations are just as characterised. After completing an arc, I feel like I've acquainted myself with its respective location, and Cambridgeshire, Oxfordshire and, say, East Anglia all feel quite distinct to me, and the world does justify its size, I feel. You guys probably know I'm not a fan of AC worlds being big, entire countries of mountains and hillsides as opposed to dense cities. It places parkour even further back on the bench than where it's been for the last 3 years, but with that to one side, England is done justice, and you can feel the bustle and grime of London, the community of a Viking outpost in Cambridge, Norwich generally being a shithole, faithful to real life. And to go back to that point about justifying size, Valhalla does that. The way side content is handled is so much more fluid than Odyssey and Origins. In those 2 games, you look at your map and you see bandit camp after bandit camp, maybe the odd bear cave or treasure location, and it gets tiresome very quickly, but Valhalla has so much more variety. Instead of giving you those sorts of definitive markers, you have blue dots for mysteries, which can be animus anomalies, world events, those are really good, rock cairns, those sorts of things. Then for white ones you have artifacts, which are things like Roman artifacts and general collectibles, and then for the gold ones you have wealth, supplies, armour, crafting materials, that type of stuff. And to have that variety that goes beyond just go here and kill these people and collect this thing, it's really appreciated. It's so more fluid and much less checklisty than those 2, which I've already said, but yeah, I can't emphasise how open it is. It's probably my favourite use of side content since Unity, and it might be even better by the time I'm done, and it probably will be after wrapping up the animus anomaly. There's definitely more positives that I will get into, but I'll go on to some negatives I have just to have them out of the way because I don't think there's really a ton of them. First and foremost, if any Ubisoft employee is watching this, sort out the Order of Ancients menu. I know who the Grandmaster is, and I knew who he was fairly close to the start of the game. Not fairly close, but like way too early. Because the outline of characters isn't subtle at all, and you can make out like distinct features of members of the Order. And there's one specific feature about the Grandmaster where it's like, okay, I know who that is now. Like in Odyssey, the cultists had masks on, but here you can pretty much make out the character, and that reveal has been spoiled for me, as well as literally every other target. I've spent a fair bit of time looking through the Ancients because I'm really invested in that system, and it's so obvious who the people are as soon as you get your first hint. Like you can make out their hair, like the shape of their nose. It's far too much, and as soon as the outline for the Grandmaster will pop up, as soon as you like kill your first master, it will become obvious who the Grandmaster is. So I'm just saying, be careful. It seems minor, but like for me, and probably you, that could spoil some major shit. And I'd assume the Grandmaster is like a really cool reveal, and I hope it won't happen to you guys. Please, Ubisoft, take it up the chain of command. Just fucking sort it out. Anyway, my least favourite thing is exactly what I thought it'd be prior to playing Valhalla. It's the engine, and just general gameplay. I'm still not massive on the combat. It does indeed feel better than it looks, but cool kill animations can't really save an already mediocre system. It doesn't have near the weight or impact it was meant to have, but you do still have weight, even with lighter weapons. So you're at this awkward middle ground where you're not weighty and crunchy, hashtag like a Viking, nor are you swift and efficient like an assassin, and it feels button mashy but without the satisfaction of a Brotherhood-like combat system. But I should say the button mashiness is nowhere near as excessive as, say, Syndicate. The combat's just sort of fine, but when it's a huge part of the gameplay loop, it's a bit tough. You know, when you're raiding and sieging all the time, they're maybe not as engaging as those could be when you don't enjoy the combat. So like in raids, I'll spend most of my time just going for supplies, and in sieges, I'll just man the battering ram and get it done as quickly as I can, rather than like getting immersed in this big battle, because I don't really have the desire to. I do definitely prefer this combat system to Origins and Odyssey though. There's some tweaks that put it above those two, like the stamina bar makes you think things through more instead of just spamming dodge, which is only reinforced by the health system, where your health doesn't just replenish naturally, but you need to use your own resources. I also like that you can just stick with one weapon throughout the entire game. Like there's an axe you get about 45 minutes into the game that I've stuck with for narrative's sake, since I like the idea of Eivor using that axe, and also enemies are just far less grindy than either Origins or Odyssey. And the power system is something I know a lot of people worried about. Like when I streamed Valhalla yesterday, I showed that there was a territory that I haven't been to where the power level is like 340, but it's not dealt with like the level gating in the other RPG games. If you go somewhere like 50 levels above your power level, you will have a hard time. But I did a story arc that was like 27, 28 levels above my power level, and it wasn't really noticeable. It's not like Origins or Odyssey where you have these 2-3 level gaps and then that's it, you don't stand a chance. There's much more slack there, and it's not handled like levels. It's called a power level and not just levels for a reason. And you never need to grind for those levels. I'm about 120 now, and I've never needed to do side content to progress, and the game isn't built for that anyway. You can get skill points in the open world by just doing things like cairns, but you aren't really going to become a tank just by doing busy work, you know, as you can in the 2 previous games. And the side content doesn't feel much like busy work anyway, and with it being so fluid on top of never needing to do it, it's a lot more fun. I know for a lot of people the biggest concern with Valhalla has been its status as an Assassin's Creed game, and views on this in the community have been very strong. From a lot of newer fans, it's been a case of the game has assassins and a hidden blade, that's enough, or it's another RPG and it's the worst game ever, and it's not near that clear cut. As somebody who got into the series with AC2, those first 4 games define the series' identity to me. Not like those strictly, like Unity has a lot of assassin elements I really like, and nor am I saying that the series should just do the same thing over and over again, as a lot of people misconstrue other people liking the older games as. To me, Assassin's Creed has these 2 core pillars of gameplay and story, and within those pillars are like more elements. Like within the pillar of gameplay, there's the pillars of social stealth, traversal, combat, things that should serve immersing you into being an assassin. On the story side of things, the pillars holding that this is a really fucking dumb analogy, but like the point is, to simplify things, AC should make you feel like an assassin on the gameplay side of things by doing a multitude of things, those things that I just mentioned, and then the story should complement that, making you feel like an assassin in the world of Assassin's Creed, with all of the bells and whistles of Isu, Pieces of Eden, modern day, social stealth, all that. Valhalla for me is a midpoint, which I always thought that it would be. It's not an Odyssey, it's far from that despite what a lot of people have been saying, but it's not an AC2 or a Unity or even a Black Flag. It's at this midpoint where the story section, it's all there as you'd expect it to be. Modern day, ancestor story, lore payoffs, this feeling of being an extended universe. Derby's done what you'd expect Derby to do. The story's great, it's a great Assassin's Creed story, or at least so far, and when I finish I'm sure I'll be even more sure of that. Gameplay is where things are a bit tricky. For one, the engine, which I've been very vocal about not really liking, still doesn't suit the series really. Like, you don't feel like an assassin in combat or traversal at all. However, social stealth is back, and it's okay, I feel. I think the series needs to reintroduce high and low profile and actions that are more or less socially acceptable to really nail social stealth again, and make it feel less on rails as it sort of does in Valhalla. But to get back on track and summarise, the gameplay isn't ideal for AC, but the story and the animus anomalies, the modern day, this is absolutely an unmissable AC just for all of that. There's a whole arc of the game that just comes out of nowhere, where you think what you're really doing is just hunting an ancient, but you end up doing something that sets the events of one of the older games in motion. And I don't mean AC1, as you might be guessing, like, this just comes out of nowhere, and I've seen nobody predict it. I definitely didn't, and it's things like that where it's like, oh, that's neat. The RPG formula might not be ideal, but this is a game made by a team who understands Assassin's Creed and wants to make a good Assassin's Creed game and gets what a lot of older fans want in a way that I feel Quebec don't. And to have the story and lore bits nailed, but not the gameplay, it's like this is half of the best AC game, where it's still great and a must-play AC, but something that with the framework of the Assassin fantasy set in like Golden Age Amsterdam could be the best AC. I feel that strongly about it. And to summarise this very rambly video, I'd say that so far, having played what I've played, I expected to like Valhalla, but I liked it more than that. I really did like it. And if I had to rank the games now, I'd go 2 Brotherhood Revelations, 1 Black Flag, and then Valhalla. And that sounds like a long list, but those are all excellent games. And I think in spite of some flaws in the foundation of the game, and like issues, things that I wasn't really going to like from the get-go, Assassin's Creed Valhalla is simply an unmissable Assassin's Creed experience that I would definitely recommend. So thank you guys for watching. I'll probably do like more of a full-on review. I'll probably do like a big hour-long or big thing going into everything in the game, maybe like early next year when things have calmed down a bit. Maybe something to do with like the story once I finish that. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this much less scripted sort of video, just giving you my thoughts on the game. If you enjoyed, maybe leave a like, and if you didn't, maybe let me know why. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all next time.